All right, y'all. So tell me why I thought I was done for today, right? I thought everything, I didn't finish editing everything. And then I seen this headline: Keke Palmer files restraining order against Darius Jackson, asks for full custody of their son. I was just like, what is going on? As crazy as this news is, it's not really gagging me that much just because of like his behaviors, right? Like that we have seen. Anybody who acts like that in the way that he was like trying to control Keke in that way, it's just anybody who acts like, any nigga who act like that, it's always something up underneath that, right? There's always something more to it, and we're finding out apparently that's exactly what's going on. Keke Palmer is seeking a restraining order against Darius Jackson and requesting sole custody of their 8-month-old son. Keke Palmer accused Jackson of abusing her multiple times over the course of their 2-year relationship in court documents filed on Thursday, November 9th. So get into this disgusting shit. Get into this. Keke Palmer claimed that she has security footage from a November 5th incident which Jackson trespassed into my home without my knowledge or consent and threatened her before lunging for my neck, striking me, throwing me over the couch, and stealing my phone. She went on to allege that there have been many instances of physical violence with Jackson that include destroying my personal property, including diaries and prescription eyeglasses, throwing my belongings into the street, throwing my car keys to prevent me from driving away, hitting me in front of our son, spewing profanities about me to our son, threatening to kill himself with a gun if I left him, harassment, and other physical and emotional abuse. In her declaration, Palmer said that her relationship with Jackson finally ended for good in early October, primarily due to the physical and emotional abuse inflicted on her by him. Palmer's filing comes after months of speculation about her and Jackson's relationship status following that whole deal with Usher. We already know that. Following online backlash, Jackson doubled down on his opinion before deleting his social media accounts. And now, before I forget, he actually, in response to this, basically, because he hadn't tweeted in 4 days before this shit, in response to this news dropping, he said this. He was like, "I love you, son. See you soon." And so I don't know, that almost gave me chills. Like that seems to me like some super villain type, narcissist type shit, bitch. Like absolutely wild that this is your response. That's just, girl, you should have kept them social media accounts deleted. All right, deleted. They are dragging his ass online. When I tell you they ripping his ass to shreds in these comments and this shit, bitch, it's ridiculous. Let's move around here. In August, an insider exclusively told the magazine that Palmer and Jackson's dynamic was complicated. It's their own lives. Those close to them hope they can work things out for the sake of themselves and their child. They have to resolve things on their own. So, of course, while all this was happening, everybody was talking about the relationship. When she was doing this interview, she was just like, I'm going to take a page out of Beyonce's book, Mind Y'all Business. Yes, life is good. I have nothing but gratitude, honestly, seriously. And so, of course, like, if you're going through, I can only imagine, like, if you're going through all that shit for how many years, 2 years they've been together, it must have been very difficult for her to navigate that shit in the public eye, especially when this nigga probably moved shit, escalated shit. She was already going through shit, but then this nigga escalated shit by bringing shit to the public, making comments online. So now she got to include, or she has to navigate, like I said, the world, knowing that this nigga is a weirdo, while also enduring the abuse and trying to figure out a way out, and she got this fucking 8-month-old son. It's just so disgusting. It's just so disgusting. So the rest of the article just really talks about like the good things that she was saying about Darius and how she was just like, we spend all this time together and he really is my closest friend. So it just becomes a thing where I'm not going to hide something that makes me happy. So I don't know. The article included that stuff. So I'm sure people are going to bring it up like, oh, she was talking like she was real happy in this relationship. But I'm just like, being someone who is in an abusive interaction or an abusive dynamic is extremely complicated. So, I mean, I know that a bunch of people are going to go digging up, like I said, her positive comments about this man, that I'm sure the nignogs are already coming up. They're already coming up with, whatever kind of narrative they need to try and defend this nigga, try and put the blame on Keke, and probably say, well, you know, you can already imagine the kinds of narratives that the nignogs are spinning in their head. Like, so I'm not looking forward to seeing what kind of excuses are going to be made for this nigga. Like, because it's at this point it's extremely predictable what y'all ashies are about to be doing, right? But being, like I said, being somebody who is in an abusive dynamic is extremely complicated. You're talking about survival, and that's what you striving for, especially if this nigga is very focused on ego and image, and which he clearly is. Like, you got to make sure you saying, especially if he got your son and shit. It's just an extremely volatile situation that I can only imagine it's difficult to maneuver through, right? So that's the one thing I'm not going to be looking forward to, is when these niggas bring up pictures of her smiling next to this nigga, you know what I mean, paragraphs of her interviews talking about where she was so happy. I'm not looking forward to people pulling that up and using that as a, like, well, you know, if she was saying all this, she was doing all this, then it must have not been that bad. Or if she was dressing this way, then she deserved to be. I know it's coming. And I hate that. But I just hope that, you know, when a kid is involved in this stuff, it makes things even more heavy, right? Because not only is this abused person, not only is Keke Palmer thinking about, okay, I gotta survive this. She thinking about, okay, what if this nigga Darius tries some crazy shit with my son? You know, that's a whole different. I don't know. I'm telling you, when I heard the things he was saying, when I, you know, saw the things that he was doing, and it's just, we got a slight glimpse into it. I was just like, there is more where that came from. There is definitely more where that came from. And we're just like, girl, you with Keke Palmer, you need to sit your ass down. You need to shut the hell up. So they are like I said, they are on, like, dragging the shit out of him. But like I said, just based off of what he was doing, the type of shit he was talking about when the whole Usher situation happened, I was like, there's only one kind of nigga that would say some crazy shit, that would say some insecure ass shit like this. And that's one that has an extremely outsized ego, an ego, of course, that, you know, has to constantly be cradled and constantly be coddled. And we already know the kind of violent, emotional fucking abuse that can come with that, right? And so I thought the emotional dysfunction was already a given, but like the physical on top of that is just absolutely not. Get this nigga out of here. And for him to respond on Twitter the way that he did, it's just evil shit, right? So we're about to see how this plays out. It's just so, aren't y'all tired of abusing black women? Do y'all ever get tired of that shit? There is something seriously, I mean, we already know this. We already know the violence that the women have to face, that black women have to face. But I'm just like, every day we waking up, somebody, it's just, and then y'all have the nerve, oh my goodness, the nignogs have the nerve to point to everything else, twerking and gay people and for destroying the black community. Y'all niggas are destroying the black community. Y'all niggas are destroying the black community. You don't have to point to no black homosexual. You don't have to point to Lil Nas. You don't have to point to Santana. You don't have to point to none of these queers. You don't have to point to black women, black rappers for twerking and talking about they pussy. Oh, it's destroying the black community. Y'all niggas are destroying the black community. And then the nignogs gonna come out the woodworks to defend y'all asses. Y'all stick together. Abusers sticking together. And it's like, wow, I'm bored. Black women deserve so much better than the bullshit, you know, that y'all be putting them through. I hope y'all niggas get y'all shit together. Like, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. But yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I will check y'all out later. Make sure you have a good goddamn evening. All the real niggas, they walk with a switch. Shaking ass with a broken wrist. I'm pussy and Bitch, yeah, just like this. All the real